directly to your emails, so you can go through them during the week. And we will SAP is going to be very practical. So the approach is that once we'll deal with the server now, I'll give you the accesses. Then after every class, please go back and go through the session again, because one thing with ERPs or softwares is that if you don't go through the first session, if you're learning another one, it's really going to, because it's a flow, you might start giving up or getting confused or getting worried. So you have 1 week to find time to go through the session again, just to refresh your memory and understand the concepts, so that in the next class you are very well updated, so that you can flow with the class. If you don't do that, there is a high chance that before you get to the end of the SAP class, you would have lost your zeal or steam. It's important that you go through the journey and follow it through down. Hi, Briggs, you're welcome.
Thank you very much, Kaleshi. Nice to meet you all.
Yeah, nice to meet you. So we're going to start with Helen. Helen, just tell us your name, where you are, and what you do.
Yeah, good evening, everyone. It's almost 8 p.m. here. My name is Helen Adeboye. I live in Germany.
Okay.
And yeah, up till April this year.
Sorry, please. Sorry to interrupt. I'm very sorry. I didn't mean to be rude, but I think, may I suggest that because it's.
Yeah, I know. Briggs, mute the mic, right? Sorry. Unmute yourself, Mike. Sorry. Please, let's mute our mics. I believe that's what he wanted to say. Briggs. Okay, Helen, you can go on.
Oh, okay.
Briggs, sorry for that.
Germany. Can you hear me?
No, I mean, if during the introduction, if you could permit us to at least see ourselves, at least for the introduction
period. Yeah. Oh, I understand. Some people might not be ready, but if you can, please. It's not a must, but if you can. Just give us.
To.
Okay.
But this laptop doesn't have a camera. I'm so sorry about
Wonderful. Move on.
Sorry about that.
Move on, please.
Yeah, so I live in Hanover, Germany, and I worked till April this year as an IT service delivery manager. And after that, yeah, till now I've not been working, but been upgrading myself, career break sort of, and stuff. So I'm here to continue my journey with Kelechi.
Yeah. Yeah, you left us, but it's good to have you back.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Yes, please. Briggs, your turn. If you can. Oh, Briggs, sorry, the camera stuff is disabled. Please just go ahead, right?
Yeah, permit it if you want. Okay, that's fine. That notwithstanding, let's proceed. Yeah, I'm I'm JD Briggs. I live here in Scotland, United Kingdom, and I work with the energy sector as an operations analyst, and I want to go back to my SAP career. I want to really take it seriously now. I know Kelechi knows what I'm saying. I don't need to go into details.
Please, let's see your face. I think I've disabled it. Let's see your face. 2 seconds.
Okay.
Yes. Then
all right. That's little.
Yeah,
that's little.
the Port Harcourt boy.
It's quite cold here in Aberdeen, so I use this to just keep myself warm.
You're welcome.
So like I said, I want to go back to my take SAP seriously from where I left it off, and I think it's high time I go back to it. And like I say, Kelechi will know much about that. I don't need to go into details, but I think it's the right time now for me to bounce back.
Yeah, thank you, Briggs. Okay, so Kelechi, you can go ahead. If you can, let us see you. If you can't, please go ahead. Hi, Kelechi. Can you hear me? Okay. Nelly, are
Okay,
you
I
there?
can hear you. I'm
Yes,
here.
please go
I'm
ahead.
here.
Please go ahead. Please show your face if you can. Then introduce yourself.
Anyway, can you see my face?
Yes, we can see your face now. Thank you. Thank you for showing
Okay,
us your face.
so I'm Kelechi. I'm connecting from Nigeria. I'm in Abuja. So
Okay.
currently I'm an accountant. I work with Heartland Alliance. It's an international organization. It's an NGO.
Okay.
So
Okay.
it's a career upgrade for me.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Uh, all right.
Okay, Nelly, you can go ahead. Nelly is from the BA class. I've not seen Nelly before though, but yeah, Nelly, if you can
Not
show
seen
up.
me before.
Is that?
You not seen me before.
I've not seen you
Ah,
before. You
are
show
you
us your
serious?
face 2 seconds. 2 seconds.
Okay. Let me just try to
Yeah.
wear some.
Okay.
I'm not
Okay.
properly dressed.
No problem. No problem. Go ahead. Go
Then that
ahead.
we women when we are in the house, it's not to dress well.
Mr. Innocent, why Nelly is trying to dress? Can you do us the honor?
This is Nelly.
Oh, nice to see you, Nelly. You're
Yeah.
welcome.
Okay. So I'm currently in Calgary, Canada,
Okay.
and then what else? I work as a pharmacy assistant in a pharmacy.
Okay.
Uh point in my life that I'm confused, but I'm just trying to figure out so many things. But
Yeah,
hopefully, I hope this takes me to the right direction.
yeah. It was nice having you around for the BA class. We enjoyed your presentations. We hope that you will follow through in this session. Thank you.
Yeah,
The,
thank you.
Thank you. Honorable sir. Honorable Innocent. We can't hear you. I think you're mute. Yeah.
I just said that designation is for Nigeria. Well, yeah. My name is Innocent Nade.
Okay.
Yeah, I live in Toronto, Canada. My intention is to having a base in project management to marry it with a BA and in an SAP environment. So I started with BA with Kelechi. So just move on to SAP HANA to see how everything will go on.
Yes.
So my intention is to continue with project management, which I have certifications on and which I'm working with. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Using yourselves and just like the BA, this is also a journey. We hope to go through that. Because everybody showed their face, let me just show my face briefly. No, I didn't show it in the previous one. You know my name. My name is Kelechi. I am currently in UK. I'm going to be taking us through the session briefly. So the idea is to, for those who are upskilling, for those who are on a journey, for those who are trying to see this as a career, I would advise that you take it seriously. Yeah, because I'll let you know something. I relocated to the UK just a week. Just a week, I got a job offer. You know, it's that the skill set is that in quote hot or is that high in demand. Yeah. So and outside just getting a job offer every week I've had some kind of communication with some kind of recruiter. Is either it's not what I want or because I already have a project I'm in now, I'm also not in a hurry. I also want to get the best. So why I'm sharing that with you, sorry, I need to take off my camera, is so that you understand that the skills I was just like I was in Nigeria. So if someone in Nigeria that has the same skill set and comes to the UK just in a week before settling, he gets a job, then you should know that there is something in SAP that is worth investing in, irrespective of where you're from, irrespective of your location. Yeah. Once you have developed yourself and you know what you know very well, like I was telling a colleague, you don't need to pray too much. Yeah, because um you would number one in the physical side, the prayer is to just basically handle the spiritual side, but in the physical side, anybody who sees your profile would at least acknowledge that you have done well in terms of upskilling. And I always say that this is a journey. Yeah, the career is a journey. The career is not it's not a one-stop shop. It's not, oh, I need a job. Oh, let me just do this thing and get the job. No, it will give you jobs, but you have to understand what it entails. You have to appreciate you have to appreciate the system. You have to own it. You have to be ready to keep learning. From the I also learned my VAs. We finished a session in September, maybe first week of October. From October till now, I've gotten 2 new certifications in SAP from Open SAP. Why? Because that is what it is. And these are new trends. Yeah. I've gotten one. I'm doing 2. I finished 1. So in total, I've done 3. The essence is that why I'm sharing this is to also let you know that when you come into SAP, you come into a space where you will be on your toes probably all through your life in the career. Just like it's a field where you have to constantly get updated because the system changes. There are some requirements that are in SAP today that have changed. For example, the tool we used to do data migration in 2019 has changed. So in 2021, we're no longer using it. So that's how it is. Like you have to now update yourself in the new one. That's why, and you're going to be of course you're going to get jobs. You're going to find yourself in a project. The project will demand from you some knowledge that you don't have. So you have to be very fast to upskill so that you can deliver. So sometimes nobody, even me that's talking to you, I don't know everything. So I can go to a project and they're like, okay, we want this thing to be done. I don't know jack about it. So and of course, there's a level you get to, you can't say I don't know, right? You have to take it as a responsibility to go and upskill so that you can fit in properly. So just giving us a background of what you're getting into is not it's a field that would need you to be on your toes, that will need you to constantly um, 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 stay with it. SAP is not competing with any career. For me, it's the only thing I do, right? Outside just doing some other stuff, it's my core area. Yeah, I'm not applying for accounting job because that's my background. I don't apply for those kind of jobs. My focus is delivering ERP solutions basically. So some of you might have to change your career if you want to focus on it. Some of us we have to upskill in certain way. For those who are already in finance, this will require you to upskill. You might still see those finance terms that you know in the theoretical space or in the operational space here, but you have to also learn how it works here and so many other things. For those who have done business analysis, great. You now understand where we're picking up from. we talked about the activate methodology and the different phases of a project. So what the phase we're in now is a phase where the BA has concluded the requirement gathering session. There are gaps in the requirements. If you people still remember, we have come up with a RISEF, and the consultant now, the consultant and the BA and the blueprint has been signed off. It's now time for design. So having done all the other project work, just to give others a background, there's another career within the field we call business analysis. The business analyst focuses on the project activities in the sense that they do things like stakeholder management, they organize workshops, they do requirement gathering, they support in training, data migration, all these basically business processes, right? That's their core. And in the ERP space, so when they are done with some of these business processes, they have to really now meet the SAP consultant. There's a document we call the blueprints, and there is another activity we call fit to standard workshop. Now, if, for example, the client is moving from a smaller software like QuickBooks or any other software to SAP, SAP would have some requirements, or the business will have some requirements that might not fit exactly with what SAP system has. That is what we call a gap. And it is the job of the BA and the functional consultants to analyze those gaps, especially the BA will do the analysis. The functional consultant is the sole responsibility to come up with a functional specification document to close those gaps. So that's why those in the technical training are doing those kind of training now. That's the class we had before this one. So once all that, they come up with a blueprint. The blueprint carries all the design requirements for the system. So, for example, it's going to carry the company code, it's going to carry the name of the business and all that. Then they'll meet the functional consultant who will now design the system with the help of the BA and other technical team members. That is the introduction to SAP S/4HANA. SAP is just like a software, like every other software you have seen. If you go to a supermarket, when you want to pay, they will scan the barcode of the item. Automatically, the prices reflect on the screen, and they print an invoice for you and pay. That is an example of a system. Yeah, SAP is like that in the sense that SAP is used to manage large business operations that have financial implication. So if you go to the large organizations like Shell, Total, and NPC that has multiple branches across the world, they need a system that can integrate all those processes around the world, still come up with a group reporting, and still manage the regulatory requirements in terms of reporting, in terms of business processes, in terms of filing in the other countries locally. So that's the idea. The idea is that we just have this very huge system that has a lot of functions that is used to manage the operations of business around the world. So let's look at the agenda. So I've welcomed you guys. The ground rules here is please make sure you come on time. We will start exactly when the time starts. Remember, the class is recorded, so even if you don't attend early, you can always get the recording whenever you join. You can always connect with other people within the class. Please, most of you are in Canada. Some of you will join them in Canada. Some of you are already working. Some of you know the environment. Some of you are in UK. So why not connect with your colleagues? They're also, all of you are also in the same WhatsApp group aside bricks. So connect with your colleagues. Even when if you're relocating, you can reach out to them and probably get more information about the environment and the work requirements and all those recruiters you need to connect to and all that. So connect and collaborate. Then when you because this is a journey and I'm going to probably be with you through it out. After the training, there are still other things you need to do. You need to keep learning. There are people who started BA, who did BA. They have done this class. They were in the technical training class. All this they are doing is just to prepare them for the career and the job, because when you go for interviews, you're going to be meeting some of these things. And so it's good you are prepared. So why not? We're here to, when you have your successes, why not you share? Most of you already know me, especially those in the BA class. I've been doing this for a while. I have some certifications in it, and I love driving change. You know, and yeah, I've had experience supporting digital transformation across companies. Why not? You can connect to me via LinkedIn. LinkedIn is, let me put it forward that if you're in this class and you don't have an active LinkedIn profile, you are very, very wrong, because LinkedIn has been a source of blessing to me. Most of my connections, most of my jobs, 90% of my jobs when I started SAP came from LinkedIn, or 99, if I would say 99.9 came from LinkedIn. So people just look at my profile, reach out to me and say, are you available for this opportunity? It is that powerful. So please put a very professional picture, regularly comment. When I say being active, after you've updated your profile, you have to be following up with discussions on LinkedIn. So if I post something, for example, you can comment. You can also post things, thoughts you have, and share your thoughts. If you finish a training, you go and post. Let me tell you why you need to do that, right? For example, because I'm very active, if you search for SAP consultant when I was in Nigeria, my name will come out in the first 5. So and of course, LinkedIn is a place where if you get the first 5 people, you might not need to now contact the other people again. And I've also changed it to the UK, and being active would keep your profile at the very top of the recruiter's list. So it's very, very important you do that. So when you see me post, I'm active, I'm always engaging. It is outside that I love sharing these information. It's also that I want to put myself out there. So you have to put yourself out there so that you can get in touch with opportunities. So first things first is to update your profile with your experiences. You have told us about yourself. So let's look at okay. I think there is something that is missing. Okay, so let's look at the aim. Then there's something I'd like us to do before this session. I have to check if this is the updated. Okay. Now, the aim of this is, at the end of this training, participants will be given the foundational knowledge about SAP, the various system landscapes, definition of basic concepts in SAP, and learn how to log in and navigate the SAP system. So we use the first 1 hour to see the introduction. The other hour we use it to download, and everybody is going to make sure they have the SAP server in their system. Then I'm going to share to you personally your username and your login. So you would log in and go from there. Okay. Yeah, so audience is anyone who is interested in understanding SAP. So before we go into the aim of this course, there's something I normally do. We call it the marketplace. I don't think I added it here. The slide that is missing. Okay, it's not here. So let me add it. Let me do it. So in the marketplace, we go to the market to see what the job opportunities are like for an SAP consultant. We normally sample countries like the UK, the US, and Canada. So I'm going to go into my LinkedIn profile. So for example, you can see my LinkedIn profile, right? So it's all set up. So you can see people who have viewed my profile and all that. So please set up your profile and make sure you are active. Then in my profile, if I open my profile, for example, you're going to see where I currently work, my experience. So you're supposed to fill up all these things, fill up your experience, your certifications and all that. You need to put all that, blah, blah, blah. Now, for searching for jobs on LinkedIn, okay. For searching on jobs on LinkedIn, you go to search here, you put the job role. You guys are there, right?
We are with you. I'm with you.
Okay. So you go to, for example, SAP FICO. FI means finance. You get all those terminology. CO means controlling. You go to jobs. It's worthy to know that SAP FICO is the most sought after job role in the SAP space. FICO, the human resource success factor, then there are so many modules. Yeah, but finance is always the foundation for all the modules. All the modules sit on finance. So that's why finance looks like the hot cake in the industry, because you cannot implement material management or sales and distribution or any other module without finance integrating with finance. And finance people are the last people to leave a project. Once they have to do month end, they have to do year end, so they are always in need of finance consultants. So this is an example. You can see this is United States. Because we don't have anybody there, let me go to where we have people. So let me go to Canada, for example. So this is FICO job in Canada. This is consultant for project implementation. This would fit more to the likes of Mr. Innocent that is interested in project management for this finance space. So let's pick a role. Let's pick this role, right? This is FICO consultant. This was posted 21 hours ago, but see the amount of people. Let this number not scare you, because out of this number, number one, out of half are not in Canada. Another set of these people do not have the qualification. So when you see a number like this, don't let that one bother you. Just apply as long as you meet the requirements and you're good to go. Now, these are the requirements. So this is what is expected of an FICO consultant. You see this first one? This first one talks about business analysis. So those who did BA, you see why it was important that you did it first. So if you are going for this role, you have to learn business analysis. It's very important you do, because some of the project work you have is the job of a BA. So you might still be doing some BA work. Then this is what we are learning now, configuration. So if you have done BA plus, if you're in this class, also a plus, because what we are trying to do here is to do configurations. After this configuration, other things are BA. Other things are BA. So that's why when I started, when I was talking to, whenever I discuss with people who want to do FIC, I tell them that the job market in finance, in FICO, has a lot, business analysis has a lot of influence in what the FICO consultant does. So even, you see the 300 and something people who applied for this job, 90% of them do not know business analysis work. What they know is this one. What they know is this one. And that's why the industry is what it is, because before now, it's always about, oh, configure, but the trend has changed. So in BA, we talked about business process, testing, development plan, test cases, process model, that's business process design, coordinate execution. So somebody like Mr. Innocent, who has Nelly and those who join the BA class who understand projects and now understand configuration should be able to apply for this role. So this is also something that is in getting important now, SAP certification. So after this class, after this class, if you have done BA and you have done FICO and you have done this training, the next thing you should start looking at is to get your certification. Just to add, however, certification is not a how do I put it now? It's not compulsory, but for your CV to pass through all the phases of recruitment before they invite you is important. So you can see this job requirement now is requiring a certification. If I open another listing just to confirm, if I open this row, for example, I'm taking these rows randomly. This one was posted. You see now, this one has 300 and this one has 339 applicants. This one has 35 over a week ago. And let's see the requirement. This is 10 years plus. Also, don't bother yourself about those. This one doesn't have much requirements though. Okay. Okay, let's go down. This is finance. This is IBM. IBM has already 3 applicants. So you can apply. What are the requirements? Understand business. Business requirement. This is business analysis, BA. Manage team, BA. Guide and support analysis, BA. Support go live, SAP. This is also BA and SAP. Focal point of client. So you see, there are still a lot of BA activities here, and they say you have experience in managing and testing solution in S4HANA. This is configuration. Has business knowledge, BA. Good communication skill, BA. Lead client discussion, BA. Understand test management, BA. So for my FICO consultants, you have to, I'm showing you this. Let's just go to UK, then wrap up this session. This is the market phase. Then I'll search. Europe has the highest demand for SAP consultants. It's a lot, like every day. Yeah, this was posted 2 weeks ago. This is 1 week ago. Let's go to this guy. So this is the requirement. This is the salary. This is the salary for a year, 100K euro pounds. That is huge. These are the job requirements. Innovative, no. Okay. The individual will be responsible for implementing and customizing SAP. This is SAP FICO configuration, this class we're doing now. That's a major requirement. You will create and execute specialization for finance, innovative-minded, hands-on implementation experience, strong understanding of application layer for other modules. So this is a typical FICO role, like an example of what you're doing now. The last one, we're going to check this guy, which is 3 weeks ago. So these are the modules in finance they expect you to know. This is IDOC. These ones are technical. These ones are the technical class we learned. So SAP has a functional class and a technical class. The class you're in now is the functional class. I want to see, so this is your playground. Collaborate. Okay. Harmonize, BA, align. So a complete SAP FICO consultant is a consultant that understands business analysis and also understands SAP. interface. That's the summary of all I've been saying here. So if you want to be a very good consultant, you should do both BA and FICU because that is what is in the market. I didn't want to say it. I just wanted us to go into the system and open a random job and see what is in the market. Yeah. So let's look at the evolution of ERPs. Yeah, ERPs now means enterprise resource planning. And the idea of ERPs is to be able to plan processes and deliver processes. So let me give you a background, especially those who are not in the finance space. Before now, in the 1960s, what we had as a software was inventory control. So in those times, the demand was, there was the boom, the production era, manufacturing boom. So the focus was around managing raw materials and inventories. So that's where ERP started. So it started from having small softwares that will manage inventory processes. Then in the 1970s, it moved to material requirement planning. This is foreseeing things like reorder levels, um, you know, doing reorder levels, um, stock out. If the stock is out, you should be able to trigger that information. If you want to manufacture, it should be able to give you the mix of the raw materials that you use to manufacture one of those products and all that. So it's basically just plan your material so you don't go out of production. In the 80s, the process improved. In the 90s, we now started with ERPs. So enterprise resource planning basically talks about, there are three layers of it. One is enterprise. Enterprise means an organization, a business. Resource means everything, like the human resource, the capital, and everything that business actually uses to run its operation. Then planning talks about how do you use the resources? How do you plan for those resources so that you can achieve the goal as an enterprise? So that's where enterprise resource planning started. Now it moved to in the 2000s, we now had, and this enterprise resource planning were sitting in the local network. What do I mean? What I mean is that they had to sit in the office. There were physical servers that sit in your office. So in those days, when you go to companies, they have their server room where you see huge, hardwares and lights showing up and down, then every system connects to that server. And that room is always cold to make sure that the system is, and they have specific people who could access that room. In 2000s, ERP moved to web applications. So it changed from, how can I work from anywhere? Like I don't have to come to the office. I can work from home. The concept of working from home, of course, became so popular in 2020, when the outbreak of is it SARS? What do we call this now?
Ebola.
COVID.
Ebola.
COVID.
COVID.
COVID. So COVID really pushed the drive for web applications. And I thank God SAP started early. SAP came in 2015. COVID came in 2020. So softwares that did not have web applications actually died during the COVID era because people could not go anywhere. Yeah, so there were a lot of challenges with business that were not cloud enabled. But this innovation has started in the early 2000s. Then we're in the era where we have what we call cloud ERPs. So we have full cloud now. The web application, you still needed to host in the servers in one physical location. But we are in the era of full cloud ERP, where the servers are in the cloud. Everything is cloud enabled. In the 2020s, it's not here, but it's my own addition. In 2020s, we are now moving to the era of AI and emerging technology, ERPs, AI and emerging technology ERP. So you have this In the age we're in now, you have ERPs that are thinking. So you don't just have a software that just sits in your office, you post transaction on. We're in the era of massive digital transformation in the area of analytics. So the system should be able to tell you based on the data you have provided. If you do not reduce sales, if you do not increase sales by 70% and reduce your cost of operation by 2%, you'll most likely be liquidated in 5 years. Those are the kind of softwares we're having now. Softwares that think. So you can see the innovation from IT, and who will manage these softwares? The people who would. So the essence of this your training is to come into the environment. You're empowering yourself so that you can be part of the people providing this service to clients. So if you have improved yourself and grown and gotten the skills, you will now start working and earning money, and you're part of this innovation. So if you're still trying to come into SAP, you are late already, because we are now moving. So as much as possible, it's not like you're late in terms of your learning, but you need to catch up fast, because we're now leaving cloud ERPs. We're now going to AI and other emerging technology powered ERPs. And also for me, I'm also preparing. I have a master's in AI. I've been doing a lot of things in. There's also the trend of climate change ERPs that can track climate change. Look at SAP has such solution where they look at your production, they can with data tell how you're contributing to global climate change, and how your activities are emitting gases that are affecting climate change, and the software is supposed to help you reduce those activities. Guys, things are happening, right? Softwares have gone past, you sit in the office, you enter invoice, enter a print, and say, no, 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 no. That's not where we are. If you're still in that space, you are far in IT. We have moved to the era of thinking ERPs. And of course, SAP recently released a new product. I think trying to remember the name now, that is AI enabled, AI driven. So guys, there are a lot of innovations and changes. It's until you come to the IT space you realize how the world is changing fast. If you're in operations, you're still doing operational work, you would not understand. But sometimes I talk to my friends and colleagues that the way the world is going, some professions will really go into extinction very fast. And those who will survive are those who have upskilled. AI is doing a lot in the medical space. AI is doing a lot in the creative art space. AI is even I saw a post where you now have robots that preach in churches. Like, they have downloaded the Bible and they can put the words together and deliver a sermon. And you have choristers that will be singing more than even the so the world is changing very fast, and it's very important that we also move at that pace. If you don't move at that pace, you just realize that either your skill is so obsolete, and when it becomes obsolete, you won't know. How do you know your skill is obsolete? The value drops. Like, I was talking to Briggs. In Canada, in UK, in US, an average accountant earns, you see the salary I showed for an SAP consultant, £100,000 in a year. That's huge. But an average accountant with all the certifications, or probably let's say ACCA, ACA, and the rest of them, the price is not so, you can see them around 30, 40, 50. If you have 50 self, is great. Yeah, it's the value is getting down there, because value has changed. So that's how you know that your skill set is becoming a little bit redundant when the value is dropping. So that's how you also plan and prepare yourself for your career. And of course, if you're in the more developed countries, this should actually, this should be of concern to you. Now, let's look at the functions of ERPs. When we talk about ERPs, what do we mean? Now, ERPs basically support the integrated business processes inside the organization. So, in a big organization where mostly SAP consultants do not work in small firms. They don't work in firms where you have 5 account officers or 2 or 3. No. Those are for smaller ERPs. SAP consultants work in conglomerates, in what we call Fortune 500 companies that have global spread. Yeah. And you get to travel. In my little space, at least, you can join companies where you are doing projects, you're traveling. I have a colleague who has traveled to over 7 countries just doing SAP projects. Because if you join a consulting firm that is global and they have a project uh, in Dubai or in Germany, you're going to go. Like if you're very important to the team, once there they book your flight ticket, book your hotel, and you go and work. So that's why the skill set is in demand, because irrespective of where you're coming from, if you know it, it's a global skill set. If you move to Canada, you have a job. If you move to Germany, you have a job. Some people stay where they are and get a job that sponsors them out of the country. So it's an important, but the essence of the ERP is basically to bring business processes together. So before now, people who do sales will have software for sales. People who do inventory management and procurement will have their own software. People who do HR will have their own software. The logistics department will have their own software. Finance will have their own. So the idea of integrating it, you can only do that with an ERP. So bringing all these processes together to work as one and share information between each other is that's the core function of an ERP. The next is improve capital planning and helps in executing original plans. Because you have integrated approach and system, you can plan better. It helps to speed up decision making. Yeah, everything is about information and data. As long as you can get them when you want to get them and they are reliable, you can make good decisions. And extend business network. Things like third-party applications. For example, if you're using SAP, it doesn't mean you cannot integrate with other platforms to do your work. You can integrate with Power BI, you can integrate with Microsoft Navision, you can integrate with some other apps if the business process requires that. Identify operational risk. Yeah, you can tell how the company is faring and plan to manage risk in terms of operations. Provides protection against organizational data breaches. When all the information is central, you can better protect the data. Makes organization adaptable to rapid change. Very, very important, because change will happen whether anybody likes it or not. Whether you're prepared or not, change will happen. So organizations need to be in platforms where they can manage change. Then long-term profit. So organizations that use SAP are mostly the large organizations. They are very big. In Nigeria, for example, you have Total, Shell, Ajib, these Schlumberger, these big multinationals. They actually run on SAP. So the demand for the skill set is there. Is SAP an ERP? Of course, yes, SAP is an ERP because SAP can integrate different business processes and much more. Let's look at the history. Yeah. SAP was founded nearly 40 years ago by a group of IBM engineers. And of course, it was founded in Germany. Hub, Hector, Plantner, Tachira, and these are the people we owe our gratitude to, because most of us will not be here if they did not come together to set up this ERP. Probably would have been doing something else. Now, the vision then was to develop a software package that married a company's diverse business functions together, just like I've explained. Before, operations and businesses were operating individually and separated by functions. So the essence of the vision was to integrate those functions. Now let's look at the history of SAP and how the product, just like you have Windows 7, Windows 8, Windows 10, Windows 11, that's how SAP as a product has evolved. So it has evolved from 1972 when it was called ARU2. In 1992, it was called ARU3. In 2004, it was called ECC. In 2009, more ECC, more Business Suite 7, which still ran on ECC. In 2015, S4HANA was born, which is part of what you're going to be learning, which is what you're learning. In 2021, like I've said, there's now what we call Rise with SAP. Yeah. So you see that as a consultant, if you're still in S4, we have moved to Rise. So by now, you're supposed to now start upskilling to Rise. But the beauty of these functionalities is that they all have applications that are integrated. So if you know ECC, for example, you won't take long to know S4. If you know S4, is the change is not. So there's always the foundation is always there, but what changes most times are some functions here and there. But the foundation is ECC. Everything, the major change SAP had in S4, ECC consultant did not find it difficult to move to S4 because S4 is a little bit more user friendly. So if you can use ECC with its rugged database, why not? You find S4 very, very simple to use. Yeah, so they did not make the change such that you cannot transfer knowledge. The change is, the foundations are still there, but S4 basically the major change was in the server. So we now have the system we call HANA. The HANA is the database where the system sits on. So you learn about the changes as we move on. So it's SAP S4 HANA. So what you're learning is SAP S4 HANA. Just put it in your head. SAP S4 HANA. Is it just a name or an abbreviation? Yeah, so let me explain. SAP S4 HANA was released in 2015. You know that now. So keep it in your head or note it down somewhere. It helps large enterprises exercise transactions and real-time assessment of business information. HANA stands for High Performance Analytical Appliance. So the HANA you see here is not just a word or an acronym. It means something. It means High Performance Analytical Appliance. The SAP S4 HANA, the S4, the SAP S4 stands for SAP Business Suite 4. So Business Suite 4 is the package that is sitting on SAP HANA. So Business Suite 4 is like the product that you're using. But the database where the product sits on is HANA. But the product is S4. So that's why we call it S4 HANA. Meaning that it is the fourth version of the Business Suite, but it's designed to run only on SAP HANA server. So S4 cannot run on an ECC server. It has to run only on a HANA server. So HANA is the database or server. S4 is the product, and it means Business Suite 4. Okay, so this is just me explaining this concept so that we don't call it SAP. So those who are joining us, please, we don't call it SAP. It's not a word. It's an acronym. If you go for an interview and use the word SAP, they will know you're a JJC, in bracket, in quotes, somebody who is just coming. And it will be embarrassing. So please call it SAP. Don't call it SAP. Thank you. Of course, we look at the advantages. When you get this slide, you can look at it more. Number one, it's improved interface. It's lovely to use. The interface is easy to understand. Number two, the performance is also lovely. It's faster compared to ECC. The data is stored in a collective form in the memory, in a main memory. So the RAM is easy to process information once it's stored on the memory other than the hard drive. So HANA is stored in memory. It's not stored on the hard drive. If it's stored on a hard drive, retrieving it can be very, very, very slow. Flexibility, yes, it's easy to customize data. Migration is also faster. You have cloud versions and the rest of them. So these are some of the key advantages that the S4HANA brings. Okay, let's look at the futures, and we'll take a break from here. Yes, let's look at the futures. We'll now go for a 5 minutes break.
Yeah, sorry. And the time is like 7:30 already. Sorry about that.
Okay, no problem, no problem. Thank you. So for the futures we have in HANA, which it made it quite very important, is the apps are responsive and adaptive, and they work with chatbox. Chatbox is an AI, artificial intelligence feature. So you have what we call the digital age user experience. It does a lot of embedded analytics and translatic apps. So analysis, deep analysis is very possible with S4HANA when you compare it to ECC. New processes only available in HANA. There are process models like the things like the Signavio, some functionalities that can only run on HANA. They won't run on ECC. Then we have situation handling, machine learning and AI proposals, and all that. Intelligent automation, right? So we heard of these very great features that are available in the S4HANA system. Yeah, so we're going to go for a brief change, a brief break. In 5 minutes, we're going to be back. So by exactly 5 minutes your time. Okay, just wait, let me get it to 7:35. Let me finish this. So for the changes between ECC and S4HANA, this you will learn in the technical training, but I'll just rush you through this, right? So I only dropped this in case you're going to be, if you join projects, because why I'm mentioning ECC is that ECC is still very much in vogue. It's still very much on ground. So you might either, if you get a job, they might still be using ECC, or you can get a project that is S4, but they are moving from ECC to S4. If they are moving from ECC to S4, you need to also understand the changes that happened in the S4 system that is not in ECC. So one of the changes is that the tables in HANA, these are technical jargons, but I'll, as much as possible, just when you do the technical training, you understand it better. But the coding changed. A material ledger, which is used to calculate the cost of materials, is now mandatory. HANA can only, S4 can only run on the HANA database. It can't run on Oracle or SQL or Java. SAP has what we call the single source of truth, is what we call the universal journal that helps to, that combine different modules in finance. The integration through, we have also included the migration cockpit. So before before migrating data used to be very tedious, but now it's a little bit easier. Material numbers increased to 40 characters. SAP can run on the cloud or on premise. ECC runs only on premise. ECC can only run on a server that is physical. It doesn't have cloud functionality. but S4 can run on the cloud and also on premise. You need to know this, have an idea of these changes. In case you go for an interview as an analyst or a consultant, they ask you what were the changes. You can say some of these things. So when you get the material, take your time to go through them. Inventory management was reduced from 26 tables. We have a new table now. The parallel ledger, which is used for reporting, is also in the asset accounting. Customer and vendor, we assess them through what we call business partners. Pricing table has changed. So these are just some of the few changes we have in S4. That's why I said, if you know ECC, you won't have it difficult crossing into S4. It's just these changes you need to take note of. Okay, I think we're done. Yes, so when we come back, we're going to look at the deadline, how this affects you, how it affects you as you're coming into the industry. And we're also going to look at the career. We have the different career paths we have in SAP. So thank you very much, guys.
Sorry, I wanted to ask a question, but maybe when we come back. Yeah.
Yes,
you want me to ask now?
No, when we come back, please.
Okay.
When we come back, just keep it close.
Right.
All right. Thank you. 5 minutes, guys. We'll be back.
Okay. Okay, Kelly. Thank you.
Yeah.